We failed out of Whole Foods. There were a ton of people who told us to quit, like just, crash land this and it's okay. Attaboy, you did your best. And I desperately did not want to fail. We took the time to understand our customer and it changed everything. While in college, I was a subcontractor for a United States agency for international development firm. And while there, I was on a lot of water sanitation projects, but this hygiene component just really wasn't being thought about. So I called up my best friend. I said, hey, I'm gonna start a soap company, and for each and every item that we sell, we're gonna donate a bar of soap to someone in need at local homeless shelters and food pantries. The early days of our company was me making soap in my college house that I lived with 6 other guys. We didn't know what we were doing with anything. We had zero experience. We started going to farmers markets and small little mom and pop shops and selling online. After begging, pleading, calling, waiting in their lobby until we saw them, we got into Whole Foods. We got picked up by Target, by Walmart. We had gotten into all these major retailers, but the product just wasn't performing. And I don't think it took a rocket scientist to look at our packaging and say, I think I know what the problem is. In the early days of the company, we just took multiple shots on goal in the branding. We would always be really cost conscientious, trying to do things ourselves, and not understanding that we did not know, nor did we have the insights to really create a compelling packaging that could really authentically talk about how much we cared about the clean ingredients inside that bottle. There was a moment in 2016 where I was standing at a shelf in Target watching people buy products, and I had to go over and explain how we didn't have any sulfates or parabens or EDTA or phthalates in our shampoo to this lady who was holding it. And she goes, oh, I had no idea. And light bulb clicks off that, well, if it takes me to walk over and tell her that, then she's not understanding this, nor is any consumer understanding this. Our branding was not good, and it doesn't take an expert in packaging design to be like, is this automotive cleaner? It wasn't just ugly, it was the ugliest. It was bad. It was very bad. The hardest part about designing something with your fingerprints all over it and realizing very quickly that the data shows it's not working is that it's your fingerprint. Like, you're the person who caused this mistake. The emotional toll that it takes on you when you're the creator and you're the entrepreneur in the jockey seat, like that hurts. We had started the whole brand remake process with this amazing design agency in New York City. And we had started getting these incredibly out of this world positive consumer focus group results. But we just kept on getting discontinued from all these major retailers that had to cut us because we weren't hitting their thresholds. We failed out of Whole Foods. We were approached with an acquisition offer that was absolutely awful. And we went back to our investors and said, look, there's this soft landing with this potential acquirer, or we double down and we launch this new branding. Our investors said, what do you guys want to do? And what do you believe is best? It was incredibly difficult to continue to be in front of the band, holding the baton, saying, guys, this brand's gonna make it, when there was so much data showing that that was not the case. But we fervently believed that the right thing to do was to launch this new branding. Once we launched that new branding in 2018, we saw over 375% lift. We saw such massive sales increase because our brand was finally being effectively communicated on shelf. I mean, this is old and this is new. Nothing would have changed if we hadn't rebranded. One of the biggest things we learned is truly understanding your customer is critically important. We kept on chasing what we thought our customer was, and that was Target and Walmart and Walgreens and Rite Aid and Wegmans, and we made a critical mistake because that's really not the most important customer. The shopper who actually goes into those stores and picks one of our products off the shelf, that's the most important customer. Not understanding her and not understanding why she was making the decisions she was making was a critical fail point. We need to win first and foremost with her. And that requires research, and more research to really understand that consumer. The reason I grew out my hair is because I wanted to know. Understanding the slip of our conditioner and being able to wear fragrance around you all day long. All those things without long hair weren't immediately relevant to me. We are now one of the fastest growing hair care brand in the United States. We've been able to donate over 34 million bars to local homeless shelters and food pantries, women and children abuse centers, as well as working hand in hand with 65 countries around the world through various different NGO partners. I'm so glad that we stuck with it to be where we are now.
Is that what you meant to do?
Sure.